going on, everyone? You are all very welcome to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast, presented by Print My Pint. If you are looking for something unique or quirky for your Christmas celebration, make sure you check them out on printmypint.ie. And I suppose at the minute, the Irish college football kickers are very much in the spotlight, as are the lads in the NFL, really kind of flying the flag for the growth of the game internationally. And joining me now is a man from County Kildare who was playing at the top flight of American football in college, Mr. Sean O'Hare, live from Maryland. Sean, how are you getting on? How's things?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, loving it over here. Loving it over here. I've seen, all of your coverage of it. So when you asked, for would I come on, I said absolutely.
I think it's long overdue that we had you on, Sean, especially now that you're playing in the Big Ten, one of the Power Four conferences in college football. They're really, really kind of top tier of college football. And obviously, you've just finished your second season now. You obviously played at the University of Richmond last year and then transferred to Maryland. And you've had a stellar season, a first team all Big Ten, all conference, which is obviously a massive deal. And I really want to get into that. But I suppose to kind of start things off, tell us how the whole kind of journey started for you. I mean, it's such still, I suppose, a bit of a foreign concept, even with all the guys in college football, for someone from Ireland to go and play college football. So tell me your story.
Yeah. So I'll probably mention him a few times, but Ty Leader is kind of the main man in all of this. But for me, I kind of, I was just playing football. I was in sixth year. I still hadn't, finished my leaving cert. But I guess in football, I was, taking 45s and frees off the ground and stuff like that. So, and then a couple of people had seen videos of, Leader kicking online, or maybe just kickers, and they're like, you should go along, give it a try. I was like, whatever for the first while, and then I was like, I think I saw a link or something to sign up, and I was just like, sure, I'll give it a
Why
go.
not?
So yeah, I went along and didn't really know anything about it, to be honest. All I could do was kick it. So I went to one session in Dublin. I think it was my first one was just only me, Tig, obviously, Ross Bulger, and Andy Quinn. I think,
The OGs.
yeah, I think talking to Ross, he was, already lined up to go somewhere, and obviously Andy had been doing it for a while. He's, doing his thing. So I guess that session I was okay. I wasn't, hadn't got the technique or anything, but I could kick the ball far, which was, what you're looking for as a start.
It's always a help.
Yeah. So Ty kind of said, you should consider it, come along, train a bit more, and see what it gets. So I was like, okay, maybe. I kind of left it for a while. Then coming up towards when we got the CAO offers, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So then I went back to Tig. I went to a couple of those, or one of those, Kicking King, that Kicking
Yeah.
King. I went to the one in Athlone, got through to the final, didn't win it, but I was like, okay, there's something here. Um, so I talked to Tig, and I ended up then not going to college for the first year, taking a gap year to train with him, and obviously with the ultimate goal of getting a scholarship over here. So that's what I did. I worked just in a petrol station and trained, still played football and everything. And then I think maybe March or April of last year was when we got sorted at Richmond. So late, as most of the lads over here already have decided where to go on long before the
Yeah.
time actually comes. So it was about 2 months before, um, I guess Ty was talking to Richmond, and then it all went from there. So I went,
And what was that process like, Sean, of being kind of working with Tig, working with the schools, the kind of conversations that Tig is having in the background, and the whole kind of recruitment process? Because obviously it's probably a lot different for Irish lads over here than it is for, say, high school kickers who are used to that kind of thing, or know
Yeah,
what to expect. Let's say it's a completely kind of foreign concept being scouted from the States in Ireland by I suppose even a smaller school as well.
yeah. Well, see, that's why we're lucky to have Tyke because I didn't really do any of that. He dealt with the coaches or anybody really. Whereas all I did was kick, maybe post some of my videos on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, I didn't deal with any of them. They were emailing him. He was calling coaches and then just getting back to me. So yeah, we're kind of lucky. We don't have to do all of that. Whereas because we have Tyke,
Mm.
who's and he as he goes, he's learning so much, and so he knows what's going on. So
Yeah.
we just kind of leave it to him, and if we can kick, then we're making his job easier.
So it's a combination of coach and recruitment, the whole kind of process, the whole part there, which is very handy.
Yeah,
So you started off at the University in Richmond, Virginia, which is an FCS school. It's still Division One, but it's the kind of it's kind of a tier down. I suppose is the simplest way to describe it. And then you moved to Maryland, obviously for this season, the 2025 season. Did you find much of a difference between the two programs, or was it kind of you're just there? It's once you're kicking balls, it's kind of all the same.
yeah. No, it is very much the same. Everyone cares just as much at Richmond as they do here. Taken very seriously, everyone works just as hard. Um, I think the difference would be with like everything that comes with it. You know, there's just a lot more people working here in the building. Um,
Yeah, bigger program.
as much more media going on and all that stuff. So like football wise, for me, like not so much. Like it's just the same. You're in the gym, you're training. We're training at Richmond just like we're training here. So yeah, I would say football wise, not too big of a difference. I guess it's just numbers wise. The amount of fans here, the stadiums you play in, um, and just how many people are working in the building. So many roles. It's like a full professional setup. Um, so yeah, I think that's where the difference is.
And then you were saying there you kind of you got to Richmond, I suppose, quite late in the process. You're kind of coming in around spring football time, kind of late summer there. What was it like walking out into the pitch to take your first field goal, your first kickoff? I mean, what was kind of going through your mind at that point? But like that whole kind of thing, it must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. So like when I first got there, I was kind of not clueless to be honest. Um, just thrown into the deep end, I guess. I
You
didn't
never
know
even seen football pads and a helmet before, like.
exactly. So I, I didn't really know what was going on, but I just kind of did what I could do. Kicked. Then I wasn't playing for the first while. They had an older lad, fifth year, who was like good kicker, consistent kicker. So who I actually got on well with. But then at whatever point that was in the season when I got my chance, um, I say this to a lot of people. I wasn't really nervous because it kind of just comes and goes.
Yeah,
You're on and off in a very short amount of time. So like I didn't really have time to be nervous. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, especially because I didn't know I was going to be kicking that until right before where we were up by whatever amount of points, and he was like, "Sean, you go on and kick that." I was like, "Okay," so I just had to grab my helmet, run on. You know what I mean? So there's wasn't much time for thinking. So not much time to be nervous.
That's the way you want it, though, isn't it? It's just like I think all kickers kind of say that it has to be automatic, right? The operation, the kick. You've done it
Yeah,
so many times. You've done all the reps that when it gets to a live game situation, it's just go on, and that's why you do it in practice. You practice that situation in those scenarios because you get in there and it could be a high pressure kick, it could be an extra point, it could be a game winning field goal scenario. It's just snap hole kick. directly to the uprights, right? That's what you're kind
Yeah.
of what you're looking for.
Yeah. So it did help though. With it was the end of the game and we were up by that much. Plus, maybe if he had told me before I was going to be kicking, I might
Mm.
have had time on the sideline to work myself up and get nervous. But he kind of just threw me in. So once I had that kick done, it was kind of like no worries about how's my first kick going to go, how's it going to feel. Um, so once that was over, it was kind of just go from there. You know what I mean? So yeah, he just threw me in the last field goal of the game. I think it was a good way to get started.
Absolutely, and like having that success at Richmond then afforded you the opportunity to go to Maryland, in the Big Ten, one of the biggest college football conferences, a Power Four, no longer Power Five, obviously after everything that's gone on. Um, what's it like being in the Big Ten conference and playing against some of the top teams in college football? Yeah, obviously you have the likes of Penn State, Oregon, USC, Michigan, some of the really kind of top tier teams.
Yeah,
Can you describe to me what I mean? You're going to some of the biggest stadiums in the world and in the states and playing in front of crowds of hundreds of thousands of people. Like it must be insane for a lad from County Kildare.
yeah. No, it's exciting. It's exciting to be fair. Even just like most of our away games is a flight, because you're going from state to state. Um, I think our first away game this year was Wisconsin, which is notoriously a loud stadium.
Mm.
So even in training all that week, we had the speakers on to try get ready for that. Um, but honestly, once they're in there and doing it, it feels the same. But everything that comes with it is definitely cool. Like even our stadium, just walking out there when it's full or nearly full, um, it's impressive. But Wisconsin was definitely a good first away game. I don't know how many it holds, 70 or 80,000 or something. But yeah, that was good. And they do the jump around. I'm not sure if you know
Yeah.
the jump around, but we were actually up by 20 points or something. So nobody in the stadium was jumping around except us. But yeah, no, that was a good introduction. And then from then we had plenty of cool away games like the Rose Bowl.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, obviously it is cool. It is cool.
I mean, for the uninitiated, obviously people listening to this podcast, they're aware of college football, they're aware of the NFL and the energy in the stadiums, particularly in college football, and they might have gotten a chance to experience it here for some of the college games we've had, but it's just it doesn't compare to what you experienced over there. I mean, can you try to compare it to a GA match or Crow Park or something? The parallels, it's night and day. The energy and the enthusiasm, the pageantry, and all the kind of just the noise that goes with it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's like, I mean, people watch the NFL and stuff. It really is like that. All the cheerleaders and the bands, and there's just so much that goes with it. Whereas, I guess, like you said, compared to football, it's not just the game itself. Um, the band, all the pre-game stuff. Some of the fans are just mental. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of everything that comes with it too, as well as the football. Um,
Pageantry, the whole kind of razzmatazz
exactly.
that goes with it. Yeah.
Tailgating and different college traditions, stuff like that. It's people absolutely love it. I guess that's what you don't really realize until you get over here. Like people are obsessed. So yeah, it's huge.
What would you say that your favorite game or favorite moment from the season has been, or even your kind of favorite stadium that you played in? You obviously mentioned Wisconsin and playing there and the jump around moment, but I mean, I'd say there's just so much to choose from. Having gone to like, obviously, you would have played in probably played in Penn State. You might have played in Michigan's Big House. I mean, what do you think is if you can choose one kind of top moment from your first season in Maryland, what would that be?
Um, I think I'd actually say our first game. There was a home game. Um, but obviously my first time playing in our stadium. Um, and I was a bit nervous to be honest. And then my first kick was I think our first drive of the game, from 49 into a bit of a wind. So, I was actually quite nervous over that. But then when that went over, I think that kind of set me up for the season.
That was your seat. That was your season long as well, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So, I think coming off after that kick, the nerves just kind of, went away. Whereas, so if you compare me before that kick to almost everything that came after, um, was completely different. So I think that kick and that game was probably what set me up for the year. Um, Plus, yeah, just seeing playing in our stadium for the first time was cool.
I mean, what a way to set yourself up for the season as well with a 49-yard kick into a wind. But like you out of all the lads playing college football, in the States this year, you actually had you flew under the radar a little bit. Obviously, Lorcan Quinn's having a great season at Marshall, but you
hmm
actually ended up being, selected first team All Big Ten, first team All Conference in your first year playing in the Big Ten, which is a huge honor and a huge deal. What did that mean to you personally to be named to the first team All Big Ten?
Yeah, it is a proud moment. Like again, just like everything, I'm still only figuring it out. Like, is I didn't know too much about all Big Ten or whatever till I was here. But from my teammates congratulating me or anyone really, seeing what some other lads what it meant to them making those teams, I
Yeah,
guess, kind of showed me how much it means. So yeah, no, it is a good honor, but I have a good few more years, so
absolutely.
hopefully I can get a few more. Yeah, but yeah, definitely proud.
But you're only a redshirt freshman, which means you've at least 3 more years of eligibility left. A long career ahead of you playing college football in Maryland. What would you say that some of your kind of main goals or ambitions are for your time playing college football? I mean, obviously Maryland missed out on bowl eligibility, unfortunately, this year. It would be great to get a bowl game in there at some stage,
Yeah.
maybe even get into the college football playoff. But what would you say your kind of your top ambitions are for your college football career?
Um, I
Like
just want
just
to
one.
stay a consistent kicker, um, throughout however long I'm playing. But then, to be honest, I would like to make a bowl game. I'd like to be part of a successful team.
Mm.
And I love this team here, so hopefully we can do that next year or in the years to follow. Because personal accolades or whatever are good, but you want to be part of a winning team. So I would like to stay consistent to where I can help in making us a successful team. And you're right, a bowl game would be good fun. Some of the lads here who were here previously when we got to one said it's just it's great crack. You stay in this fancy hotel.
All the
Um,
all the free stuff you get as well. Like, you can't beat
exact,
that.
exactly, yeah. Cool. Usually NFL stadiums or in somewhere like Florida or something like that. So yeah, a bowl game, which kind of relates to what I said. Like, hopefully, if we're a successful team that can make a bowl game, um, that would be good.
And like, it's probably a little bit too early, or maybe it's not to be kind of thinking about this or discussing this. With you such a long college football career ahead of you, but would you say that the ultimate goal for you personally is to make it to the NFL? I mean, we've seen that it's becoming more and more possible now for Irish lads to get there because of what the likes of Dan Whelan, who played college football. Charlie Smith never played college football. He's kicking for the Saints now. And
Yeah,
there's such a really strong pipeline of young Irish talented kickers coming through that it's almost inevitable that at least one or two of you make it to the NFL, right?
yeah. No, obviously that would be amazing. It is a few years down the line, so try not to think about that too much.
Absolutely.
But I think I'm just loving my college career, and then if the NFL was an option, a good college career is what makes that possible. So I'm really just focusing on loving the college, even if I don't make the NFL. I get a great degree from here. Um, but yeah, obviously that's a dream, and that would be amazing.
It kind of like, would you say that it's always been a dream of yours to play college football? It kind of, from talking to you, it kind of seems like it's only something that kind of occurred to you or was presented to you as you were coming towards the end of school. It's not. I suppose you wouldn't really be of the generation that was watching NFL growing up, maybe, that thought to themselves, "Oh, this is what I want to do with my life is play college football or play in the NFL." When did you kind of get that moment or spark that, and you said to yourself, "Oh, I can do this. This is a possibility, or this isn't something that I want to pursue." Like,
Yeah, no, you're right. It wasn't a lifelong dream at all, to be honest. Just because I watched some NFL. I wasn't a big fan. I was just a fan of all sports, so I watched some of it, but certainly the idea of playing in it wasn't in my head. Not really until, I was playing football and just kicking frees off the ground, and then seeing Tig on Instagram or something like that. That's when it, the idea came to my head. To be honest, not until then. Um, and even I didn't watch football, but I always liked it. And now that I'm involved in it, I do love it. So it's you kind of, to anyone who doesn't really watch it or doesn't was like me and didn't have that idea or dream of doing it. It's like it's really possible. You don't know or hear about it. So yeah, once I met Tyke and kicked a few balls, that's really when a realistic dream came about.
and what would you say to anyone trying to follow in the your footsteps, Lorcan's footsteps, Andy Quinn's footsteps, Ross Balder's, so many of the lads who have blazed the trail now, who have opened up the avenues for Irish lads to go and kick or play other positions in college football potentially. What's the kind of biggest piece of advice you would give to them, or what would you say to anyone who's possibly listening and watching and says to themselves, "Oh, I want to give this a shot, maybe."
Just go, give it a try. It really is like there really is nothing to lose. If it doesn't work out for you, so what? Just go back to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
If it didn't work out for me, I just would have went to college at home, played Gaelic, um, and gone on with my life. But nothing to lose. If you just show up to a session, um, if Ty sees anything in you, or like I wasn't too good at the start, I was, looked kind of awkward kicking the ball almost, but you could see there was something there. So just honestly, just show up to one of these open sessions. There's plenty of them going on now. Leader kicking's huge now. Um, yeah, just show up, give it a shot. At worst, you go back to whatever you were doing. Nothing to lose at all.
Absolutely. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Sean, look, it's been a pleasure watching you this season and seeing the success you had, and we wish you more future success. Before we wrap things up, I want to finish with a question that I kind of ask all my guests. It's kind of sporting related. Obviously, this is where we're talking about sport here, but you've played in some of the best stadiums in the world. You're playing at the top level of college football. You played GAA growing up, obviously other sports. Is there a favorite sporting memory you have, that something that it could be from playing underage GAA or from this season or last season, but is there kind of a favorite or a top sporting memory that you can tell us about?
Jeez.
That's a bit of it. That's the general
Yeah,
the response I get.
I think I'll have to go with a Gaelic football one here. That's where I came from. I think I'll say winning the minor A final in Kildare, with Ballina. It would, I can't remember what year it was now. 2020, 2021 or 2021 or 2020, but definitely that one. We had a good year, and to be honest, that year was kind of where my free taking and off the
Yeah.
ground kind of came from. But yeah, I think winning that minor A was as good as I got in my football career. And then, I mean, maybe I'll eclipse it somewhere in my American football career, but for now, the Gaelic I think is
Okay.
the best one.
Well, look, I have no doubt that we'll continue to see great success from yourself and from the rest of your leader kicking alumni. Like I said, just doing fantastic things in the world of college football. Sean, listen, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you're all set for Christmas. We look forward to seeing what you do in the preseason and in your next season with Maryland. And yeah, all the best for Christmas.
No, thanks very much for having me on.